How's it going, Martians? Welcome back to the report. Got two more articles for you today. The first being titled Ripple's ODL corridor to Mexico reports an all-time high yet again. Liquidity is growing day by day by day. It keeps going up. Our second article, translated from a Spanish website over here called Crypto Tendencia, titled TD Ameritrade could include Ripple in its platform. So we'll cover both of these articles, but before we do, as always, if you're new to the channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe and ring that bell so you can be notified of all my newest videos regarding XRP and cryptocurrency. And don't forget to leave me a like, as it helps with the YouTube algorithm getting this video promoted out to everybody that's already subscribed so that they can see this awesome news. So with that said, let's jump straight into our first article here from AMB. It begins, Ripple's on-demand liquidity, ODL corridor to Mexico, has been active ever since its launch and has been leading the liquidity game. On December 30th, the XRP MXN corridor on Bitso reached an all-time high, with liquidity surging over 10 million. By over 10 million. Does that mean in a curse? Okay, so it is to 10 million. Sorry, I just want to make sure that it didn't just jump from like its previous up another 10 million, but no, it's over 10 million now. So according to the liquidity index bot, XRP Mexican corridor noted liquidity of 10,189,161 Mexican peso is, I believe, the measurement. According this being having been the last hovering close for the market. So, however, despite the rise, some within the community believe that Ripple has not yet let the platform off its training wheels, and the spiking liquidity might wither away if Ripple does not support it. Twitter user and XRP enthusiast Tenentoshi said in a tweet, ODL is used in Mexico, etc. equal liquidity has increased. However, personally, I speculate that the current liquidity is still a result of Ripple's care. In other words, when Ripple's hands are no longer available, it is so immature that it will quickly wither. Who is Tenentoshi? I'm not even familiar with Tenentoshi. We're going to go over here on Twitter and see who this Tenentoshi is real quick. Tenentoshi. Okay, so this is the individual in question with 16,000 followers, but I've not heard from him once. But several of you in the community who I know, who follow me and I follow back, do follow Tenentoshi. Now, he apparently seems to be a Japanese, I'm assuming, by his name and the font here. Yeah, from Japanese. So a Japanese traditional introduction of primary information. Okay, so yeah, so Tenentoshi is a Japanese XRP community member who is apparently very popular according to his follower base. That said, I do not know why Tenentoshi would be under the impression that if Ripple took its hands off of the Mexican corridor, that the liquidity would dump, because we know that this liquidity is due strictly to MoneyGram, not Ripple. And we also know that MoneyGram is impatient with how little liquidity Ripple has allowed to enter into this ecosystem, because Ripple, not MoneyGram, is playing very cautiously with entering into this ecosystem to ensure that the individuals participating in it are doing so in a legally compliant way, as to avoid anyone getting fined or, any regulators coming down heavy on anybody, which would scare people away from XRP. So there's a very good reason why Ripple is doing what they're doing, but nonetheless, what they are doing is absolutely keeping the liquidity from just going through the roof. And this was made clear at Swell this year when we listened to to Alexander Holmes, or just before Swell rather, when we listened to Alexander Holmes express his desire for there to be more liquidity brought to the platform and to be enabled. And Brad's reply being that they just need to do this slow and steady to ensure, again, that everything goes as according to plan and there is no bumps in the road that would set the project back. So I do not believe that, I do not agree with Tenatoshi's opinion, but again, he's a very popular Twitter user that I'm assuming that a lot of you out there trust to some degree. So it's just a professional disagreement, I guess. I just don't. I wish that I could see further tweets, hope to understand exactly why he believes this. At any rate, according to the Twitter user, the market is still in the nascent stage and has not yet reached a phase where it grows on its own. The image below marked the growth of ODL flow over time, and that is just parabolic as parabolic gets, right? Like, this chart is gorgeous, and if it continues, things are just going to get even more bullish for us going into 2020, because if this trend continues in the 2020, it's going to very quickly have an impact on price. I mean, you can't see this kind of growth continue for too many more months before it is so much liquidity through ODL that it dwarfs the current total market liquidity and then soon market value of XRP, which current market value, right? Which means the price is going to have to increase to facilitate the continued adoption and growth of the ODL, on-demand liquidity. So the article continues, on the other hand, other cross-border gateways appeared next to inactive. Even though the corridor to the Philippines noted a spike in liquidity, it was negligible compared to XRP Mexican peso. UtilityScan, a platform that offers real-time data about on-demand liquidity, marked a 24-hour volume of PHP with USD to be $238, while Mexican peso is noted 3.02 million in volume. AUD, Australian dollar, I believe is AUD. AUD USD marked a 24-hour higher volume than the Philippine peso at $237,000. Wow, there's like no money going through Filipino peso, even compared to the AUD, which I'm pretty certain that's Australian. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that, but almost certain that's Australian dollar. So, the all-time volume noted on the website was $107 million, while the daily volume all-time high noted 4.5 million. Apart from existing corridors, Ripple has been planning to expand its partnership with Brazilian banks in 2020. According to Reuters Brazil, Ripple's managing director of South America told the media outlet that the firm's current focus was to coordinate with banks and regulators in the country to make remittances more efficient. And Brazil will be massive when we get that market online, as Brazil is, I believe, the fifth or sixth largest country by population, and also being a quote third world country by their market value, that would also mean that there would be a large amount of remittance volume facilitated through them and other corridors, similar to what we should expect to see once India goes live here in Q1 2020, Q1 of this year now, which, by the way, did not do a shout out at the beginning or in my last video. I hope you all are having a fantastic New Year's, and obviously this is just the more exciting news for what we have in store for us this year. So, moving on to our second article from the Spanish outlet Crypto Tendencia, TD Ameritrade. I gotta translate it back there. Translate to English. Why did it switch it? Oh, it did. It just still left TD Ameritrade with in Spanish version. So TD Ameritrade could include Ripple in its platform. So recently, the company TD Ameritrade published a tweet that raised the hopes of the crypto community regarding XRP. So much so that there are rumors that the platform will include cryptocurrency in the future. TD Ameritrade was one of the first companies to include Bitcoin futures. In fact, it is considered one of the pioneers in the adoption of cryptocurrency. And everything indicates that they still have a good option, or a good opinion rather, about the encryption industry, the crypto industry. Again, so sorry that I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm trying to make sure that I'm reading as it should be, as opposed to what some of these are saying, because obviously being a translated page, not everything is perfect English, and some of these points may not be completely accurate too, just because again it's translated. So if you understand Spanish, the article again is from Crypto, spelled CRIPTO, Tendencia. So go over there and check out the article for yourself if you understand Spanish and you want to proofread it in Spanish to make sure that it was actually accurate. So at any rate, getting back in here, despite showing their receptivity to digital currencies, community members were eager to know if they could take or would take the next step and accept other cryptocurrencies. For this reason, Twitter user Tim Dewar wrote to them and asked if they would support other cryptocurrencies such as XRP. I don't know why they say Ripple. At any rate, before this, the company responded, or to this, it should say, the company responded, "Thank you for your interest. Currently, we offer Bitcoin futures on the CME. We will continue to monitor the market and consider additional opportunities going forward." This from ZB over at TD Ameritrade on Twitter. So this was not a concrete answer of yes or no. So the crypto community interpreted it as a maybe. And this was perhaps enough to have great emotion around the subject. After the response was published, several media began to request more information from the platform spokesperson regarding the issue. However, there is still no concrete answer as to whether TD Ameritrade has plans or not to include XRP in the future. They keep saying Ripple in this, but I'm just saying XRP because XRP is the digital asset, Ripple is the company. At any rate, in fact, one of the spokespersons for the platform simply stated to Cointelegraph that we are always evaluating new products and services based on customer feedback. So what this means is that everybody needs to go and like this TD Ameritrade tweet and say, yes, please, XRP. And TD Ameritrade will put it on there because we all, as the XRP army, have flooded them with so much praise and hopes for XRP that they're like, well, that's a lot of money. Let's bring them on board there, right? So get to it, XRP army. Let's blow this up, get this rolling. The article goes on to talk about the acquisition of the company by Charles Schwab. So some believe that the recent acquisition of TD Ameritrade by Charles Schwab could boost the adoption of Ripple, of XRP. It is important to remember that Charles Schwab has owned the platform since the end of November of 2019. So since then, the crypto exchange backed by TD Ameritrade, ErisX, launched its own physically settled Bitcoin futures contracts on December 17th. With this, the company allowed investors to receive real cryptocurrencies and not the cash equivalent. However, although Charles Schwab is impacting on the crypto adoption of TD Ameritrade, others consider it not the main cause of the Ripple issue. Already in 2019, TD Ameritrade has hinted that it will possibly add XRP to its platform. We are still exploring the XRP space. Stay tuned for more information. Our team is working hard to make things like this happen. But nothing ever materialized. That also opens the debate to whether this time, which Ripple was not even mentioned in its publication, will really materialize something with the cryptocurrency. So again, sorry, this article was again not actually in English. It's translated from Spanish. I'll show for those who want to read it. If you speak, read, understand Spanish, then I'll just go through this real quick for you. You can pause the video so that you can read the article for yourself. And yeah, Let me know if there is any discrepancies with what the translate did versus what with what it actually says here, right? But as always, thank you all for tuning in the video. Hopefully you found today's video exciting, informative, and as always, thank you for tuning in. I'll see you all in the next one on Mars.